Hey, my name's Emily Hopkins, also known as Harp Lady, and I have two favorite synths in the year 2024. So the first one is the Osmose by Expressive E, and I tried this for the first time this year. Kind of fell in love with it. It's really responsive to touch. You get wiggly keys. You can make it really extreme or really subtle. And you can even turn it off completely so that you can just play it like a regular keyboard. It has a lot of amazing built-in sounds that you can choose from. I've used a lot of those sounds in soundtrack work. It just is a really fun synth to play around with. And I just want to play it all the time. I feel like that is I feel like that's a good reason to like a synth, don't you think? Yeah. I just want to touch it all the time. It's cool. I've been playing piano since I was 4 years old, and I never thought that you could add, vibrato in. That wasn't part of it. It's like a string bend on harp, I like things that give me more control over my sound, and this definitely does. So this is cool. I also like these things. These things are pleasing to me. The way they jump back into place, I like that. Second top choice.
It's much smaller.
Yeah, much smaller, and I feel like everyone's going to know what it is already. It's the Vongon Replay. Okay, listen. This one has wiggly keys, and this one has clacky keys. Okay? It's just really easy to get good sounds right away. I find myself reaching for it for a lot of stuff that I do. It's really easy to dial something in that holds up. It sounds good. So yeah, very different synths. But these are my two faves. Should I have picked a pedal? Was I supposed to pick pedal gear? No, right? It could be anything.
Hi everybody, Midlife Synthesist here, and my pick for best gear of the year 2024 has got to be, hands down, the Arturia Polybrute 12. I had the original Polybrute for about 3.5 years, and it embodied what I most love about hardware synths. Powerful sound engine, loads of programming options, ease of use, and expressive playing capabilities. The new version expands upon that with an extended 12 voices of polyphony versus the original 6, and it introduces Arturia's new full-touch keybed, which adds MPE capability to the Polybrute and allows for some insane amount of expression while playing, as well as offering deep sound design possibilities. Just as in the original, the Polybrute 12 is bitimbral, and you can play up to 2 patches either in split or layered mode, but I feel that now with 12 voices, you can truly take advantage of those capabilities. Another unique feature to the Polybrute, which returns on the Polybrute 12, is the morphing feature, which allows you to blend 2 completely different patches and find the sounds in between for some truly beautiful happy accidents. I said before that I think that the next step in synth technology is expression, and the Polybrute 12 is a synth that truly allows you to express yourself through its keys and its sounds. If the original Polybrute is already a modern classic, I think that the 12 cements its legacy as one of the greatest synths of our time. Thanks to Perfect Circuit for having me again, and thank you for watching. Happy music making, everybody. See you soon.
How's it going, everybody?
You know who it is.
My name is Sanwoo, this is Sweetie, and this is the Elektron Octatrack Mark II, my favorite piece of gear of the year 2024. And I think it's an older device, but still unrivaled in the market because it's got such a unique set of features. You can do MIDI sequencing, you can do sampling, resampling, live sampling, you can create live effects chains, and of course, you've got the crossfader, which you won't find in most other devices. But instead of me telling you, let me show you what you can do with it. First off, we're going to go to the MIDI tracks. So we've got 8 MIDI tracks available. I'm sending MIDI out to the ASM Hydra synth, and then I'm going to get the audio from the Hydra synth back into the Octatrack right here. Let me unmute this first MIDI track, which already has some triggers here. And by the way, these triggers can be locked into a scale by using the arpeggiator. So right now it's locked into E minor, but we could change that. So whatever you have in the sequencer will adapt to this. So you've got a scale mode already. Let's add a few more tracks, like this one, which by the way has a different length from this track, so they can all have independent length. Sorry, Sweetie. And let's add one more track. All right, now let's get back to our audio tracks. Here we've got the audio coming to what's called a through track right here. So we can add effects to the synth. A filter here. Add resonance. We could also add something else like a chorus. And now we get to another very interesting feature, and that is live resampling. So I'm gonna go to this track here, go to the recording setup and press this. And our recording is starting. So now we've got this sample right here. On this track, I can put the sample into the sequencer, and you will hear that the same slice of the sample keeps repeating. But what we also can do is create random locks. And now you can see we are playing random slices of this recorded sample. Wonderful. And of course, we can do normal things like drum sampling or drum sample playback. So these are all drum tracks. Got simple triggers on there. All these tracks run through the master track, and if I now apply an effect on the master track, all the tracks are going through it. I've already locked parameters on the chorus on all the master track steps, but you can't hear it yet because I haven't turned the mix of the chorus up. But if I turn this up, you can do some crazy stuff. All right. 808. And then last feature, of course, is the crossfader, which is just amazing. So you can just lock in any parameter that you want. And it will save that in the scene, and you can slide from scene to scene. Anyway, that's it for me. Thanks to Perfect Circuit for inviting me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again. Peace!
Hello everyone, I'm Monotrail. 2024 was a fun year for me with a lot of special things. But my personal highlight is the release of the random Bézier waves, the Eurorack module I designed with ADAC. It creates two independent smooth random voltages with control over frequency, output level, offset and the exact shape of the curves. For me, subtle imperfections and dynamic movement are the key to interesting sound design. Quick and easy access to a good set of random voltages is something I use in every patch. For example, to turn a static drone into something nice by adding filter modulation, and wave shape modulation. Or add a bit of random voltage to the filter and envelope shape to spice up a simple sequence. Both generators also have CV inputs for frequency and level, which makes it easy to have the voltages respond to other modules or controllers. You can have an envelope increase the depth of random filter movement, or have something like a mod wheel, aftertouch or modulator add subtle oscillator drift over time. Without patch cables to the CV inputs, the output of each generator is modulating the frequency and level of the other. That makes it easy to set up complex random signals or even add cross modulation. Beside the main outputs, each generator has an inverted output, great for stereo patches and balanced movement. And there's an average and inverted average output to add more signal variation. The module also offers a related trigger and gate output, as well as a few clipping modes that add interesting logic signals to the possibilities. All that combined makes the module great as the complex heart of generative patches. I hope some of you out there will enjoy this as much as I do. In any case, I wish everyone a beautiful and musical 2025.
Hey everybody, this is Surco. I am a live techno hardware performer from Denver, Colorado, and I'm here for Perfect Circuit today to talk about my favorite gear of 2024. And I tried to narrow it down to one, but unfortunately only got it down to two for you. So my two favorite pieces of gear this year are the Shakmat Battering Ram kick drum module and the Oxy Meta Performance Effects module. Both of these were added to my kit this year and have really transformed the way that I'm performing just because of the quality of the sound and the flexibility that they provide. So the great thing about the Shakmat Battering Ram is that it's got a ton of different sweet spots as a kick drum. It's not just kind of a one-trick pony. So you can start off with things that are really deep and powerful and a little bit more subtle, but you've got a lot of control over it. So you can drive that up, you can add some depth, you can add transient, and you can really create dramatic stuff. It's also got two drive circuits, so you can really overdrive it if you want to get those wild and crazy sounding kicks, or you can bring that down to a little bit more what I'm into, which is more of this kind of 909 style. Obviously you can soften it up and lengthen it out and get that more of an 808 style kick. this in, and then we'll just give you a little bit of context with this one. So if we're gonna have this with some other sounds here. So you can see how the kick really kind of punches through, even when it's with a whole other mix of stuff. Even if you bring it down and make it a little bit more subtle, take some of the edge off of it, you can still get a ton of that low end power coming through, which is one of the things that I really love with it. And if you bring in a bunch of new sounds, and you really want to kind of drive it through, you can add drive and you can add transient. And it really comes through on a large system. It sounds absolutely fantastic. Then we've got the Oxymeta, which is a performance effects unit. So for example, if we wanted to add some transitional effects, filtering, some resonance, and then we've got a kill switch here so that we can kind of take it back down to 0 to go back into a drop. There's some other effects built in here, like for example, the riser, which is pretty cool because that adds in some additional effects with it. So you get a wash of kind of reverb, a high pass filter. And then when you drop this back in, that effect trails off. And you can make it really dramatic like that, or you can make it really subtle, like if we take the resonance off the filter. But you get the idea. There's a lot of different effects that you can use for transitions and also just for kind of master effects to really add to a performance. Another thing that's really cool with the Shakmat battering ram is that you also have a high pass filter built in, so you can cut out your low end, because mixing is always a problem with live performance. So it's great to be able to cut that out and kind of allow things to fit a little better. And then you also have an envelope output, so you can output the envelope of the kick drum to use other ways within your modular for modulation and things like that. Or you can hit this button and it inverts the envelope. So you send out a ducking envelope, which can allow you to, in effect, push out ducking to other modules, almost like you would with a sidechain. So it's a fantastic kick drum module. The sound is great. You can hear it here, but when you hear it on a big system, it's even better. It's absolutely a fantastic module, as well as the Oxymeta. These two have really transformed the way that I'm playing this year, and that's why they are my two favorite pieces of kit for 2024. Thanks very much to Perfect Circuit for inviting me out, and I hope to see you next year. Take care.